let's kick off with The Guardian, with reports from Sheffield, where Israel and Hamas are apparently battling for control of Sheffield, Lewis.
Yes, well, this is more in the biggest story of our time. I'm sorry to say, it's the end of the world. I shouldn't be so pessimistic, but anyway, I'm not even going to say that I'm Jewish. Nobody needs to know that. Anyway, protesters scale Sheffield town hall to remove Israeli flag. A pro-Palestine rally in the city, and according to Sheffield City Council, the flag was not destroyed. They got the flag back.
So they just took the flag down, neatly folded it up, and didn't burn it.
And maybe said a prayer over it, like we say, a prayer over it. The fact is,
do you think Sheffield Council might have just grabbed another Israeli flag so they could say, to avoid inflaming the tensions, they could say no, it was handed in fine.
I wouldn't put it past them. At the end of the day, isn't Sheffield one of these like asylum-seeking cities?
Well, yeah, it's a sanctuary city, and here we've got footage of the Israeli flag being taken down by one of the protesters.
Well, that's not 200 feet up. It said in the article it's 200.
It's 60 feet, I think it said.
Oh, 60, did they say 60 feet?
Yeah. And then did they get the Palestinian? Yeah, they got the Palestinian flag up there. I mean, that's shocking. That's to be, so soon when there's still blood drying in Israel.
A case could be made that Israel's made a proper hash of it by doing what they did. Unfortunately.
By doing what?
By revenge, by acting out of revenge, which is totally human on their part, but it doesn't. It's not going to.
But they're taking revenge against Hamas. They're taking revenge against the militants who did it.
And it's not going to make them win. They're not going to win the sympathy of anybody, really. I think they expect the Jews just to sort of sit down and cry and just be done with it. They don't expect an act of violence. I don't know if it was the right thing to do.
Paul, I mean, have you been surprised by the protests, the pro-Palestinian protests? Because I thought they'd at least wait until, perhaps until Israel had struck back in a meaningful way and, entered Gaza in a ground invasion. Instead, as soon as it was broadcast, as soon as the invasion was broadcast, there weren't so much Palestinian protests as pro-Palestinian celebrations. It looked like.
I'm not surprised, actually, and I don't think any of us are. I think what we're seeing is just a continuation of the type of thing we've seen around the country for years now. Whenever there's been terrorist attacks in the UK, there's been small parts of the population from the Muslim community that have just been outrageously supporting whatever it is that they think they're trying to defend.
Well, and the shocking thing now is that it's not. I mean, you'd expect, perhaps from some of the Muslim community to support it. But it's been plenty of non-Muslims, plenty of woke people who see it as, part of some decolonisation. Well, they've been programmed with all the, Black Lives Matter and all this woke ideology about, oppression and all these terms that justify the most horrific, barbaric crimes.
Well, it's the act of people involved in a cult, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that's the cult of, well, let's call it wokeism, but it's just modernity, progression, whatever you want to call it, this soup of ridiculousness where they have decided these things are in and these things are out, and it doesn't matter if babies are being killed or what, they're going to support it anyway. Just ridiculous.
We say progressiveness or progression, but they're siding with medieval barbarians. I mean,
but they don't care, they don't understand, they're not educated in that way. They're educated to go along with the crowd.
Right.
And what is the crowd? What is the crowd? Sorry, I didn't mean to do
No, absolutely. I think it's a great question.
Yeah.
People are afraid to go against the crowd because if they do, then they end up getting treated poorly. They're embarrassed in some way.
There is truth to that, but I think there's an underlying core belief system which embodies this thing, which is like, we don't really care if this happens to Israelis or Jews, because they don't think that Israel has a right to exist, because we're one world where you call it wokeism. It's not wokeism. It's just sort of it's like a one world attitude. There's no borders. We're all alike. There's no culture.
But that doesn't explain why you'd say, well, yes, it's okay to kill these people because we're all one world. I don't understand.
Because in their mind, that these people inherently have done something wrong by kicking the Palestinians off of their country.
So they're woke people are anti-immigration. I thought I'd never see the day.